on YouTube? It's your girl Sha, and welcome back to the Shaa'Vaee Show. My fellow members of Calvary, it saddens me to say that I am very disappointed in our first family, okay? It's just sad to see that everyone is forgetting the common goal, which is to get the church back. Not only that, but it's like, if you don't have this church, then what do you have? This is your source of income. This is your life. This is your family's legacy. And it seems as if no one gives a rat's behind besides May and James and Gigi, possibly Jacob. I don't know, because his wife Chris is getting his mind. But it just seems like so many members of the family are just they're not using their head, okay? And I'm just disappointed because how could we have faith in the Greenleafs being able to get Calvary back if they don't have things straight in, like if things are not going right in their own household, okay? So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's just get right into it. We are talking about Greenleaf Season 6, Episode 9, titled God's Justice. So first and foremost, Judy and Gigi meet with the members of the Deacon Board to convince them to vote yes to Harmony and Hope having 12 seats on the board. If this happens, then Harmony and Hope will invest millions of dollars in Calvary. So now here's where the issue lies. So you have Grace, who is a Greenleaf, obviously, who is convincing the board or telling the board to vote yes. But then you have Lady May and Bishop, who's telling the board to vote no. So it becomes a little bit confusing as to, okay, who do we actually side with? So Bishop obviously is on the side of no, don't have them have members on the board, because that means that they're going to try to take over completely. That's just their way of slowly but surely taking over the church that I built, okay? So Bishop meets with Connie to convince her to vote no. So as we know, Connie is on the Deacon Board, and her vote is kind of like the last say. Because she's worked so closely with Harmony and Hope and she has a reputation with them or a relationship with them, her vote really matters. So obviously Connie is not convinced to vote no towards the idea of Harmony and Hope having 12 members on the board, because she does not like the Greenleafs and she does not want the Greenleafs at Calvary or at Harmony and Hope. The only Greenleaf obviously she tolerates is Gigi, but she does not want May and Bishop to be a part of it. So Bishop basically says, listen, Connie, you're either going to vote no against this proposal, or I'm going to tell the congregation that you took a bribe from Harmony and Hope to basically sell Calvary to them. And then we're going to have them be the judge of how this should play out. So Connie is obviously shook to the core by this, and she goes and meets with Judy and Phil to let them know that basically the bishop is blackmailing her, and that if she doesn't vote no, he's going to take this bribe that she took from Harmony and Hope to the public. So now Phil and Judy have to go back to the drawing board to figure out, okay, how can we derail this from happening? How can we make sure that we kind of satisfy Bishop's needs without what we did coming out to the public? So now Bishop tells Lady May that he spoke to Connie about voting no, and that he did tell her that he knew that she took a bribe from Harmony and Hope. So Lady May is very upset with Bishop because, as we know, her stance on this is that she doesn't want to fight fire with fire, and she does not want to blackmail Connie, because she feels like that's the last thing we should do. So right now, she is terrified, as she describes it, as to what is to come after Bishop pulled this stunt, because Connie works very close with Harmony and Hope. So there's no telling what can transpire. So Lady May is like, listen, I thought I was finished praying for the night, but I'm going to go back to my praying chambers, because I need to lay before God and ask him to make sure that nothing crazy or terrible happens after Bishop has made this move. So Judy is on top of Corinne, because Corinne was supposed to be printing out the bylaws for Calvary, and she has not gotten to it. And she tells Judy that the reason why she has not been able to print out the bylaws is because she's been working on getting these Amy Grant tickets that Judy has asked Corinne to look for. So now Judy finds out from Connie that Corinne might have been the person who told Bishop about the bribe that Connie took. So now Judy decides to fire Corinne and says her services are no longer needed. So Judy basically does not like Corinne because obviously her loyalty lies with the Greenleafs. Phil threatens Gigi and says you need to resign. And Gigi's like, okay, why? And he lets her know that he has evidence that she lied to the police. And he's giving her until Sunday to come clean, or else he's going to share her business to the world. So obviously Grace knows that this came from no one other than Charity, because how else would Phil know this type of information if no one else in the family really talks to Phil like that? And the only time she has talked about AJ and AJ being her son is amongst family. So Grace goes to Charity and she asks, what is it that Phil has on me that he's threatening to expose? And Charity obviously lies and says, I don't know, Gigi. And she says, well, you probably shouldn't have lied. You brought this on to yourself. So at this point, it seems like we know where Charity's loyalty lies, and it lies with Phil, because she does not like Gigi, and she never likes Gigi ever since Gigi has returned home from wherever Gigi was at before she came back to Minnesota or Missouri, wherever they are. So Charity is just working overtime to get Gigi out because she feels like obviously her and Phil are going to be associate pastors of the church. What Charity is not thinking about, and she's one of the members who I was referring to in the beginning of this video, she's not thinking about how this is going to hurt the rest of her family. She's thinking about her own greed and her own grudges she has against Gigi, and it's turning her into this ugly person. Not only that, but it's just showing that this whole family first theme that has been going on throughout this entire season of Greenleaf, as we get closer to the mid-season finale or the end of the season, we are noticing that a lot of them don't live by that type of law, family first. And Charity is the perfect example of that. Sophia is home from college, and her and Gigi are in their area of the house, and Sophia leaves AJ a voicemail just asking him to give Grace a call back because now she might be going to jail if it comes out that she lied on AJ's behalf. And Sophia just feels like that's not fair to me, because I won't be able to have my mother, and you're kind of new to this family, and we both basically put a lot on the line for you, or we both tried to build a relationship with you, and you have shown us that you don't want to accept our love. You don't want to really be a part of this family. So the least you can do is just own up to what you did so that my mom doesn't have to suffer for your issues. And at the same time, Sophia says, you know what, Mom, I'm not going to go back to Hampton for the rest of the summer because I need to be here. And Grace is like, no, you can't do that, Sophia. You need to go to school. And Sophia's like, well, if I don't stay for anything, what will I stay for? So Sophia is not going to go to Hampton. She'll stay home and, support her mother in her time of need. Carissa tells Jacob to ask May who gets the house if and when they pass, or when they decide to give it over or hand it over. And Jacob is just like, I'm not asking my mother that question because I feel like it's inappropriate, and since you want to know so bad, you go ask her. So Carissa's like, okay, cool. So Carissa goes to ask May who gets the house, what happens to the house when it's all said and done. So Lady May informs Carissa that the house will be split equally among the siblings, Grace, Gigi, and Jacob. Carissa meets up with Grace in her room to talk about her share of the house. And she basically asks Gigi if she could borrow some cash or borrow her portion of the house so that they could get this, so her and Jacob can get this new house that they want. So obviously Gigi is unaware of Carissa's agenda, and she's not aware of how sneaky Carissa is being, and that she is sleeping with Fernando, and Fernando is the one who got this idea in her head. So Gigi's like, well, yeah, I have some extra cash. And Carissa's like, oh, you got cash? You got that kind of cash to help us out? Because we're looking for $500,000 to help us out. And Gigi's like, well, yeah, I have that type of cash, so perhaps I can help you out. Maybe the reason why I have this money is to help you and Jacob out. Gigi, I'm sorry to break this news to you, but I don't think God blessed you with this amount of money to give to Carissa. That is not the case. And I'm pretty sure that you're going to be made aware of this soon. So Jacob and Dante meet up, and Dante's building this sports bar or this sports lounge. So he invites Jacob over to see how the lounge or the bar, the sports lounge or sports bar, is coming along. So at this meeting, Dante agrees to work with Excellence Prep, and he gives Jacob a check and says he needs a favor. Basically, this would be, he spoke to his people, and his people said that this would be a good idea that might help Dante get off of the bench. And he asks Jacob if he can set up a press conference, or he can ask Carissa if she would be willing to do a press conference with him soon. And Dante also apologizes to Jacob for getting him fired. So now Carissa and Jacob officially have the money for the house. So now they have the check that Dante gave Jacob to work with Excellence Prep, and Carissa is getting the money from the house from Gigi. So they're both in a good mood. I guess in honor of the money that they just received, they decide to have a night full of sexual activities. Okay, now this is very shocking to me because I hardly see them intimate, and when I do see them intimate, it's like my eyes hurt because I can't really see them together and I can't really see them intimate. I just feel like Jacob and Carissa are not like a match made in heaven. I just feel like they're just not like, I don't really see how they work together, but okay, cool. If it works for them, it works for me. So I was very shocked to see them in this intimate level, okay? And obviously, Carissa's doing all this because she's learning some tricks from her side piece. Now, Carissa gets a phone call from Fernando, her side piece, and she's like, oh, I can't keep doing this, Fernando. You know, her little fake, theatrical, dramatic, oh, no, I can't. Anyway, so he calls her and says that Carissa might have the opportunity to be the owner of the Greenleaf house, okay? Now, Carissa obviously is tuned in and she's like, tell me more. So I guess Fernando's going to let Carissa know more about these details next episode. So we'll see what's going to happen with that, okay? So now Judy is over here and she is jealous, honey. Jealous of Phil and Charity's relationship to the point where now she's becoming racist, okay? So she approaches Phil at his desk and she's asking him about his feelings for Charity. And she wants to know, do you really like her? Do you really love her? Because you were doing the same thing to me. And then Phil's like, well, the both of you are very similar. And Judy's like, well, please enlighten me. How are we similar? And he informs them, well, both of you have two powerful fathers and you both feel like you don't get enough credit or the attention or the recognition that you deserve. And then both of you just, you both throw tantrums and you don't get your way. And Judy's like, sorry, I beg to differ. I don't think we are alike. In fact, I think that you feel like you need a black girlfriend. That's why you are with her. You decided you want to tap into your black side now. So now the truth about Phil is starting to come out. So Judy is basically letting us know that Phil was down with the swirl, which, Phil, it's your preference, do what you gotta do. But now it's like, what is your agenda? Because if we're so much alike, it's almost like you just target these vulnerable women who have powerful fathers who can possibly get you in positions of power based on you being affiliated with that family. So, Judy is just kind of letting Phil have it, and she just really showing her true colors and how she feels about him dating Charity. And she says, at this point in your life, I think it's when you need a black woman. That's how you feel. You need a black woman in your life at this point. So that's the only reason why you're with Charity. And she also says, if you want me to help you with convincing Daddy to basically let Charity tag along as associate pastor and let you become associate pastor and paint this beautiful black family picture that you have, I suggest that you invite Charity to dinner and all three of us will have dinner and we'll sit down and talk about the future of Harmony and Hope, aka Calvary. And so I can, get to know her a little bit more so that I can determine if she is in fact a good fit for the church, okay? So Judy, Phil, and Charity end up going to dinner and they eat at this kind of like sushi spot. And obviously this was an opportunity for Judy to try to get under Charity's skin and let Charity know that her and Phil used to be a thing. So Charity finds out that, Judy and Phil used to be something. Not sure what they were dating, or if they were actually boyfriend and girlfriend. They were just messing around. Either way, they used to be a thing, right? So obviously Charity is not happy about that, and she's a little bit salty and jealous. So in order for Phil to, I guess, calm down Charity's worries of what happened between he and Judy in the past, he gives Charity a key to his apartment, and he's like, oh, well, when you go in there, all you're gonna see is your pictures on my refrigerator after the first day I met you. And then if you look at my prayer book, I have wrote down some things that I would like to say, or pray, things that I pray about for us and for our future. Phil, I need you to stop. I need you to stop. How many pictures exactly do you have of Charity on your refrigerator? When did this happen? How long have y'all been dating for y'all to have all of these pictures? Okay, it sounds a little bit creepy to me. And then you put the prayer book out, just trying to win Charity over. And Charity falls for all of this, okay? So obviously Charity accepts this key to his apartment, and they end the night with Phil telling Charity that he loves her. Oh boy. That seals the deal. Charity's officially wheeled into the Harmony and Hope family. Oh boy, I can't wait to see how this plays out. So now Judy goes to Phil the day after the night of dinner when Judy dropped the bomb. And she's like, well, so how did last night go? I hope it went well. I'm sorry if I caused any drama. And Phil's like, yeah, well, I had to clean up the mess that you spilled, but we're on good terms right now. And Judy's like, well, you know what? I'm glad to hear that. You need to keep Charity happy because we're going to need her vote soon. And Phil's like, well, what do you need her vote for? And Judy's like, well, you'll see what the vote is going to be about. So we don't know what the vote is. I'm pretty sure it has something to do with the bylaws or getting the Greenleaf out, because Judy mentions the bylaws in this meeting that she has with Phil, and she says that she read the bylaws, and in the bylaws, the senior person on the board or something along those lines, they get to have like the final say or something like that. So whatever they're getting ready to vote on, they need Charity's vote. And Judy says, well, I'm glad you and Charity were able to kiss and make up. We're gonna need her vote soon, so make sure you continue to make her happy. So now for the young members of the Greenleaf family, things seem to not be going well for them either. So Nikki is upset that she wasn't invited to Dante's soft opening of the sports bar, since she in fact helped create the sports bar and told him, she was part of the designing crew, and just gave him a lot of pointers on what he should and shouldn't do, okay? So she's upset that she was not invited ever since they had broken up. So it seems like Nikki and Sophia are always going back and forth with one another, and I guess this night they were supposed to be staying in and ordering food, just having a little girls' night, and Sophia's like, I'm out, because Nikki obviously keeps talking about Dante, and at this point Sophia is trying to make Dante her man, so she's like, I don't have time for that, okay? So Zora and Nikki decide to just pop up at the soft opening, although they were not invited, and when they pop up, they see Sophia there. Now, before Sophia left the house, like I said, they were supposed to eat and have a girls' night, and she was just like, oh, I'm not hungry. So Nikki approaches Sophia as she's all up on Dante, and she's just like, oh, for somebody that's not hungry, I see you got a very big appetite for something else. So the two of them go back and forth, and they push each other. And then Dante has his security drag, basically, Zora and Nikki out of the bar because they were not invited to the party. So the next morning at the Greenleaf household, Zora sees Sophia, and she presses her like, Sophia, what was that about? And Sophia's like, well, what do you mean? What was what about? What is the problem? And Zora's like, well, Sophia, I think you really have a very, very, very big problem that needs to be addressed. And I don't understand how you think you're going to make friends with people or make friends with girls if all you're going to do is push them away or be mean to them and then go behind their back and steal their man. And Sophia's like, well, if you want to get technical, me and Nikki ain't friends. I don't know Nikki, and Dante and her are not together. So if I want to date Dante, I can. I said, oh. So Zora tells Sophia that she's acting just like a hoe, and she's like, I cannot wait until you go back to college. And Sophia says, well, darling, and she's sipping her tea. Well, darling, unfortunately for you, I'm not going back to school, and I'll be here, so life's gonna be great. So now Grace goes to her parents to let them know that she has to step down from being head pastor of Calvary, aka Harmony and Hope, because Phil has this evidence on her about her lying to the police for AJ. So now Bishop and First Lady have two different takes on the situation. Lady Mae is like, Gigi, you cannot step down from this. The only thing you can do is go up on that pulpit on Sunday and you tell the congregation everything that is going on and tell them what's happening with your son, and people will understand that. So Bishop believes that Gigi should do what she has to do to save her son. And Lady Mae is like, no, you need to do what you have to do to save your soul. So right now, Gigi's in this conflict on what should she do. Should she just continue to go on and not leave the church, not leave Calvary? Although it seems as though AJ is guilty, should she just go on with what she's doing, preach on Sunday, and just continue living life until something blows over? Or she should do what Lady Mae says and tell the congregation what happens. So as Gigi steps up to the pulpit to deliver her sermon, AJ walks in the church. First of all, y'all, it's so dramatic. AJ has on all white, so he stands out, kind of like this symbol of purity. And he walks in through the church doors, and Gigi stops mid-sermon. And she looks at him. And then she tries to continue going on, and then she looks at him again, and then she stops. And then she announces to the church that she will be stepping down as head pastor. So obviously the church is all like, oh no, oh my God, what's going on, what's happening? And then Judy looks at Phil and she's like, why is she doing this? And Phil's like, I'll explain later. So right now Phil thinks that the ball is in his court, okay? So now it's just a matter of, okay, Bob Whitmore wants Gigi to be head pastor of this church. He doesn't want Phil to be head pastor, doesn't want Judy to be head pastor. He wants Gigi to be head pastor of this church. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see how Bob reacts to Gigi stepping down from the church, especially because he wants her to be head pastor. So I'm curious to see how he responds when he finds out that Phil was planning to blackmail Gigi, which was the reason why she stepped down, and then knowing that he wants Gigi to be, knowing the situation that's at hand, yes, I think Bob will be a little bit disappointed or upset at the fact that Gigi lied to the police. But I think he's going to be more upset that Phil tried to blackmail Gigi and then Gigi stepped down from it, So it's going to be very interesting to see how Bob's take on this whole situation. So I'm excited to see what happens next episode, although I'm still disappointed that my church is not bad. Calvary is not bad. We still don't have Calvary. And it just seems like every time we get 2 steps forward, we get pushed 10 steps back. So at this point, y'all, we about to just merge with Harmony and Hope for good. That's what it's looking like, which I hope is not the case. So if you like this video, you like my reviews on Greenleaf, or you want to know more about some of my opinions and recaps of the different shows that I review, be sure to give me a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe. I will be back again with another Greenleaf review. So I'll see you all next time.